Today I fucked up. I thought all dudes observed the clean butt etiquette when they get BJs. I see a guy in my building to give him the occasional BJ when he's in the mood, but the women he's casually dating are all unavailable. It's all fun and games. Nothing serious. I go over, get on my knees, we both leave happy. So today, while giving him a very sloppy service, he decided to straddle my face and make me lick his ass. I mean, I have done it once or twice. It's not my first choice or second choice on the menu. But he seemed like he really wanted it, and I thought doing it would distract him from wanting to anal me, as he had stealthily moved from squeezing my butt cheeks to fingering my butt during BJ. I was not ready for anal. So I let him squat over my face and plant his butt crack squarely on my face. I assumed all guys observed the clean butt etiquette when they get BJs. The BJ to ball licking to taint licking to butt licking transition happens enough that I assumed every guy cleans the entire pelvic region before a BJ session. I assumed incorrectly. I screamed into his ass canyon, but my screams were muffled. I got out from under him so fast. I didn't want to look at him. I didn't want to talk about it. I saw his tighty-whitey on the floor as I left, looking down to avoid any eye contact, and noticed the skid marks. The sight of it made me puke a little acid bile in my mouth. To top it off, on my way back to my unit, I had to wear a mask in the elevator, which only amplified the scent of his unclean ass. It was a no for me. 0/10. Do not recommend. Too long did not read. I assumed all men observed the clean ass etiquette when they make their partners lick their butts. I was wrong. I've been married for a while, and I always wash up in advance when I know we're doing stuff. Any stuff. I screamed into his ass canyon. I'm dying over here. How can you casually date multiple women, get blown by your neighbor regularly just for fun, and still not wash your ass? Tears of joy. He must have a really good personality or something lol. Edit. Somehow missed the fact that these were all men lol. Ignore that. Are there any vacancies in your building? On behalf of the International Male Anus Services and Sanctions, IMASS, I would like to not so sincerely apologize for this foul creature you encountered. He shall be executed promptly and painfully. Insincerely. IMASS. I'm so sorry this happened to you. Clean butts people, it's important. He's a dick for being an ass. It's really rare that I'm ashamed to be a guy, but fuck. That's fucking terrible. Face vomiting. Today I fucked up on my first shift of work as military police. Within the first 10 minutes of my shift. So I just got back to my job as military police after a 7-month-long deployment. I just got back to working after a nice 2-week vacation to relax. Tonight was my first night back to work. My boss was nice enough to set me up as a police patrol for my first shift. I had this whole plan to drive around and meet all of my new coworkers. It's 5 minutes into my shift and I need to assist with closing a gate to the base by blocking traffic so the gate guard can raise the barriers. I drive down to the outbound area to block traffic, but as I do, I completely miss the spike strip that's laid out to prevent people from driving that way in the opposite direction. I pop all 4 tires of my police vehicle at the 10-minute mark of my first shift. I have never felt more stupid in my life. To make matters worse, it's my squadron commander's vehicle, which he let us borrow. I now sit in my truck, with 4 flat tires awaiting a tow truck. TL. Doctor, I'm popped all of my police truck's tires within the first 10 minutes of my first shift because I'm an idiot. Still awaiting what my punishment will be. Edit. Update. Truck is now towed, and now I work on the lovely reports of typing everything up. AFJIS 1168 AF. Those of us that are cops know what I'm talking about. Hopefully I don't get screwed to bad cold sweat smile. I'm in medium to high spirits. It's not that bad. But the circumstances just make it worse, rolling on the floor laughing. Look on the bright side. In a couple weeks everyone will laugh if you respond to something affirmative with, "I'm down like 4 flats." Oh, and just an extra note, I just put on the rank of sergeant while I was overseas, so I was hoping to make a great first impression on everyone here. Just to begin my fresh start here as a sergeant as the dude that pretty much totaled his truck, day 1. FML. Ha 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 ah. And cleaning the military bathroom with only a toothbrush. Hang in there, pal. Someday you'll laugh so hard at this. And thank you for your service. Maybe not tonight, but in general. I see ops strategy. Sandbagging in the beginning to look like a rock star later. I see a mop, a bucket, and a rainstorm in your future. At least you have a solid alibi should there ever be an accusation down the line of being crooked and also working on the side as a crim. How could I be a crook? I didn't even spot spike strips as a good guy. Pile. TIFU My foxy punishment is over. But my suffering is not. Original post. Here. In short, I was really stupid and broke hunting laws, got probation. But a probation that stunk up my house with fox urine. Things got a lot worse after my original post. Not gonna lie, I started to feel a little crazy. It became totally permeating and inescapable, and like I mentioned before, somehow I never got used to it, like I have with any other strong smell I've experienced in life. I had been burying my head in my pillow at night to try to escape the worst of the stench, but eventually even the pillow started to stink. And then strongly stink. Desperately wanting to open a window but knowing even that would violate my probation, as I described in my original post, and knowing that my PO wasn't above a middle-of-the-night visit as she had proven. I'd wake up in the night gagging often, my sleep got all messed up. Showers went from barely helping, to not helping at all. In fact, I felt like they were even making it worse, since the humidity was spreading the smell around from the open bottle I had to keep in the bathroom. Even she started coming less often, saying it was unbearable to even step inside, but she still came enough to keep me honest. I didn't try anything to mitigate it or get out of it, not wanting to risk going to prison. And honestly, a part of me sort of felt like I deserved it. I messed with foxes, I guess it's the foxes getting me back. It was the best feeling a few nights ago when the PO made her last visit and took all the bottles out of my house. No more having to be inside from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. No more bottles, no more rules to follow. But I have to say I've really underestimated this, just like I underestimated the effects of fox hunting, I guess. I don't think life will go back to normal anytime soon. Part of me wonders if I should have just taken jail to spare my family at least. The biggest problem is that the house stinks, and everything in it. So bad that I still gag if I walk inside. I've kept all the windows open since probation ended, big fans, air fresheners, scrubbed carpets, everything, and I don't think it's even making a dent. I got my wife to agree to check me into a cheap roadside motel. I was too ashamed to even go to the front desk smelling like this, where I've been staying since probation ended, but it's no long-term solution. Might have to call professional cleaners soon, but even that will be embarrassing. But the other problem is that I still stink. I've taken 3 showers a day and it's still bad. Every time I think it's getting better, but then if I go on a jog or something, my sweat smells like fox. Really, really strongly. I can smell myself often and it really grosses me out. I also miss my wife and kids who are still staying with relatives. We've visited once since probation ended, but I could tell my smell was really offensive to them. They tried to downplay it, but still. And I don't want to force them into a motel with me, or worse yet, make them live in the unbearably stunk-up house. I guess the moral is don't break the law. This really messed me up and I've been having all these emotional ups and downs and feelings of anxiety I've not really felt before, especially when I was on probation and stuck in there on house arrest. Feeling trapped, nauseous, anxious. I'm not sure if the judge, prosecution underestimated this too when we did the plea deal, or if they knew how bad this would affect me, but I have to say I'm surprised. I never thought this would be as horrific as it has been. But I think I'm done with hunting altogether, at least for now. I can't stand the thought of thinking about animals in an enjoyment context when I literally smell like one and am still feeling a bit sick. Certainly never skirting the law again. Too long did not read. My punishment ended, house still stinks, I still stink. It'll be a long road back to normalcy, but perhaps a well-deserved one. Yeah, sorry if it's not what you want to hear, but you're not going to smell normal again even remotely soon. If it's to the point that your sweat smells foxy, sounds like you got marked as their territory pretty severely. It's a joke people make about dogs and cats, but with animals like foxes that actually have territory marking urine, it's not a laughing matter. My wildlife rehab friends carry that smell around with them if they're not careful and get it on them, and they didn't marinate in it for a month like you did. The house might have a better chance than you have. Carpeting can be replaced, and you'll have to stop being cheap lol. But those pheromones are deep in your glands, skin, and will come back every time you get wet for months, more likely than not. Large cookie sheets of the carbon used in fish tank filters and baking soda in every room. If you can manage ozone machines, get a couple of those as well. You'll probably still have to get professionals involved, but be honest with them. I made a horrid choice, and part of my plea deal to avoid jail was open bottles of fox urine in every room of my house for 30 days. It's permeated everything. While I deserve it, my wife who still wants to kick my ass and kids don't. Can you help remediate the smell in our house? Yes, that's embarrassing. But not nearly as embarrassing as the smell that's currently permeating every pore and fiber of your being. This just sounds like how you'd torture someone in a horror movie. Not a good punishment for probation. This just sounds disgusting and wrong. What kind of person makes someone keep open jars of piss? Unsanitary as hell. You had to be inside all day 8 a.m. 8 p.m. but your PO could still show up in the middle of the night? So you had to be stuck inside 24 hours a day? This story is so weird it makes me feel like it's made up. Keeping piss in your house just sounds like a joke from a TV show. Not a normal punishment. Great way to get someone sick. This is a wildly unusual punishment. And normally I'd just believe what I read in here because it's not like I know any of these people, so who's it gonna hurt if I comment how I feel about a post at face value? But this is very odd, and I cannot find any similar punishments in the persecution of anyone illegally hunting foxes. Dunno. Just seems sus. You did the crime and certainly served the time, but how were the other hunters sentenced? Unpopular opinion. You might also have a civil suit for cruel and unusual punishment. I'd talk to a lawyer about it. Preferably inside your stinky home. No, I'm not condoning Ops behavior, but the punishment is an ongoing issue. Ops family has been violated. The home repairs will be very costly. Better not let those hunting dogs come around you anymore. You smell of fox now. They'd be rather aggressive. It's funny that you though a shower would fix this. How would a hunter not know how animal musk works? I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say this didn't happen. At what point are we going to realize this has to be FAKEAF? Today I fucked up by attempting suicide. So I've been having a really hard time, blah blah blah, recently had a miscarriage, lost my best friend, caused a heap of problems for everyone around me, thought to myself, hey, how can I fix this? I know, right? I can just die. I sent out some obligatory I love you texts, had a lovely dinner of sleeping pills and booze, went to bed. Next thing I remember is putting my boots on and discharging myself from hospital at 1 a.m. Now, I'm not going to tell anyone thinking of doing what I did, OMG, stay, it gets better, because it doesn't, you know? But, if you try to top yourself and it doesn't work, it does get worse. Because I'm now stuck in some never-ending acid trip, have strange visual disturbances all the time, reality sort of fades in and out around me. I get strange sensations in my body and pins and needles in my limbs, and I don't know if my brain will ever work again. Don't do it, kids. It's not worth it. TLR tried to kill myself, ended up with possible brain damage instead. Been there, done that. I hope you get the help you need. Counseling and certain medications can really help such feelings of utter BS. I'm glad you fucked up. Take advantage of this second chance. Hugging face. I recently lost my shit and took a knife to my arm, resulting in me still being alive with no use of my left hand. As Ops said, it's really not worth it. I'm so sorry for what you've had to go through. You've been through many traumatic events and it's easy to understand why you feel the way you do. It can get better, it may not happen as soon as you deserve it, or as soon as you'd like, and that's okay. It will get better though. I'm not a trained expert. I have been through some very difficult times myself. What I do know is help is out there, and I really don't know where I'd be without seeking the help of a therapist. Please consider seeking out help. As far as your current physical health, perhaps you go back to the hospital just to be safe? It will get better. Yay, if the sleeping pills had diphenhydramine or some other antihistamine, it can cause visual distortions and hallucinations for a while after you take it. The only reason I am not doing it lol. Because with my luck I won't be able to actually do it but make the things worse. Oh my gosh. Maybe this explains all my weird little medical, physical neuroses and maladies. I tried in my teens with a fistful of 2 different types of pills and no alcohol. For some reason this actually makes me feel better. Sorry for what you're going through. There are a lot of assholes on here right now, but they're spewing crap out of their mouths. You deserve to live, and I'm glad you're still here. Anyone else who thinks otherwise is completely wrong. Please try to ignore these people. Hope you feel better soon, and please try to continue living. Once the rough patch is less bad, it's totally worth it. Hey, tried to off myself with a massive overdose of my meds and ended up with hallucinations and was bedridden in hospital for 3-ish days. They subsided afterwards, but I understand how scary it must be. I'm so sorry that in addition of your pain now you have to deal with complications. I'm here to talk if you want to.